Hey, what is up everyone? Professor Danny and Alex. In this video, let's look at the side control position as well as the Kesa. All right, we're going to be showing you guys some variations, some transitions, as well as a couple of submission attacks you can do from those two positions. So check it out. All right, so we're going to establish the side control position right here. Okay, and now we're going to switch our base into the Kesa. So look, I'm going to keep the underhook here, switch my hips, and now as I get the Kesa position from here, we're going to look at some different transitions as well as attacks, all right? So in a previous video, I also talked about near side attacks, right? So we looked at, let's say for example, if I push his arm here, you know, I can also trap it underneath this leg and then attack this arm. We looked at that technique. There's another variation where sometimes we just hold the arm and then he starts to pull this way, and then I just hook it with this side, and then I'll lock my triangle and then I can attack the shoulder lock instead. We looked at that, so check out my channel for previous videos on these techniques. Then I want to cover this side as well, and then I'll also show you some double and triple attacks, all right? So look, the first thing I want to cover is you want to be able to maintain your base and transition, because sometimes when you attack submissions, the person is going to give you all sorts of reactions, and if you don't maintain the position, you can't attack the submission. So look, the first thing we're going to look at is transitioning from this Kesa position right into the knee on belly, all right? I like to do it from here. So of course now you can take, you know, the easy route, or the safer route, I should say, and just go back chest to chest, bring your knees back tight, and then go palm to palm, right? And then from there we'll transition into knee on belly. But sometimes you just want to take a quicker route and the opponent's not going to expect this. So what we're going to do, look, we're going to make a nice grip here on his arm so he doesn't start to use this arm to push you off balance. But this one here that has the underhook, I'm going to post it palm to the mat and make sure that this leg is posted on the mat as well. So now my weight's going to transfer to here as well as here as I lift my knee behind me and I end up into the knee on belly position. Now this hand could hold this arm here. It could go inside his lapel to start attacking the chokes or arm bars. You can also just grab this leg here and take it off the mat so that way it doesn't bridge you. You're going to also just hold on to his own jacket. This hand is always a dynamic hand where depending on the type of attack you're going to be doing, but you want to be holding here underneath the armpit. Now, this is a really easy transition to practice because a lot of times when you end up here, instead of going back to side control, moving back your hips, of course you should be practicing this all the time. So for example, just doing these types of drills here and then switching to the opposite side and then coming back into the center, hooking the head, and then coming back here. Just being able to transfer your leg movement and always keeping the pressure in the center is very important for your transitioning. It's almost like footwork in boxing. In Jiu-Jitsu, we call these transitions because you want to be able to move around the opponent, change your position, but keep them exactly where they are, right? So the exact reason why I want to move myself is to better position myself to attack a submission, for example, right? So I want to keep him where he is, but I want to be able to move my body around him, all right? So look, this transition right here, very easy to do. Make sure you cup the near side arm, post on the far side. Make sure this near side leg is posted as well. Raise your hip off the mat, one, and shift right to knee on belly. All right, so now we're gonna look at if I wanna transition, but also take the back, for example. All right, so we can transition to the mount, we can transition to taking a knee on belly, but we can also transition to one of the best positions we have in Jiu-Jitsu, and that's the back take. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys a nice way to take the back and smash the legs at the same time. So once you have the side control position here, what we're going to do now is reverse our position. So look, from the chest to chest position here, I'm gonna bring my arm over the head, and I'm gonna switch my base looking at his hips, all right? So now I'm gonna grab the near side leg and push it away from me. So that's going to stack his legs together. Once his legs are past the line of the hip, look, I'm going to bring my leg and post it right behind. So as I shift my weight, my foot's going to post right behind him like this. And now I'll come back and I'll dive this arm in front of me as such to put my weight onto his chest. So now he has one of two options. The first one is to give the back. The second one is to let me have his back, all right? So that's the only thing that he can do. If he starts to turn, he's giving me the turtle position, which is what I wanted in the first place. More than likely, the opponent's going to take the second route where he's going to try to resist from here so he doesn't want to turn onto his knees. That's when you're going to take the back. So look, I'm going to adjust myself right behind him. keeping my leg, hooking this leg, I'm gonna push the elbow down so I can trap his wrist. And I'm gonna use this arm here and cup the opposite arm as such. So you're Xing his arms, all right? So now he can't resist. And look, I'm gonna lean onto the opposite side, bring my knee into the equation. So as I lift him, watch what I do with my hook. I drive him up, and then from here, attack the back. So once again, we'll switch here first, switch your base, all right? Of course, now we have the basic options where I can just bring this leg over the mount, right? But sometimes you want the back control, all right? So what we're gonna do is grab the pants right here, all right? Bring the knee opposite side so that way there he can't turn into you. Now, as I shift my hips, I'm gonna bring my weight on top of his leg, slide it across, and bring my foot right underneath his calf. All right, that's gonna keep his leg steady. Now, I'm gonna release, swim my arm underneath his arm, push him across, and apply the weight with my chest. Now I drive my knee up, and now it's almost like a technical mount position. Okay, look, this arm is gonna grab his wrist, gift wrap him. This arm that was holding the pants is gonna release and cup underneath his elbow. And now you're keeping everything pressured in and apply the chest control onto his shoulder. And now as I lean back, watch what I'm gonna engage my toes underneath his leg to lift his weight up and drive him up. And now bring my knee up and slide it into the back control position for the attacks. Now another position we can do to take the back from here is going to be to switch our position to the north-south. All right, so instead of going to the legs, I'm gonna go towards his head. All right, so take a look. I'm gonna bring this near side arm over his head. And instead of switching my base, I'm just gonna walk my knees into the north-south position. Once I'm in north-south position, it's gonna be important to keep my chest on top of his chest to keep the pressure in. For the tutorial, I'll stay a little bit upright so you guys can see what's working underneath. But if I stayed here, I wanna be applying my pressure, all right? So look, when I'm in this position, I'm gonna be working my hands on both sides. So this hand here is gonna crawl underneath the arm and open up his lapel, all right? Once I open up, I'm gonna adjust to make sure I have a nice grip. Keep in mind the whole time, this is done with my chest on his chest, okay? On the opposite side, I'll do the same thing. I'll open up his gi and bring everything nice and snug underneath the armpit. Make sure there's no slack. Now, once I have double grips here, I'm gonna engage my toes and I'm gonna pop up to my feet. As I do so, watch how I lift his arms up. So I'm gonna bring up from here, lift him as such. Okay, so let's go back, Alex. When I do this, I'll jump to my feet. I'll go 1, 2, and take the back. Now I'll go for my seat belt. So this acts just like a seat belt. And then from here, boom, to the back. Now once again, we're gonna bring our arm over the head, and this arm is gonna go to his waistline. As I start to move around him, I'm gonna make sure that I go underneath his arm and grab his lapel, right to here. Opposite side does the same thing. Now it's important to get as tight as possible underneath the armpits, okay? And of course, once I'm here now, that's gonna be the time where I'm gonna release the upper body and jump up to my feet. So as I go up, I push onto his back, I go 1, lift him up and pinch him with my knees. All right? Now, when I land, this acts like a seat belt. I'm gonna land with the hooks. And look, I'll choose either side. Sometimes I go to this side or this side. All right? So once I have these double unders, it's just like a seat belt. And now we can go 1, 2, and you have the back control. The next one we're gonna look at is taking this far side arm. All right, so like a telephone arm bar, which we refer to it sometimes. So I'm gonna get this arm underneath here, and look, I'm gonna open up my own jacket so I can control my lapel. Now this acts like a third hand, so I can have this arm free to push on the mat. So now I wanna drive him to his side. So as I lean back, look, I turn him onto his side. Now you have this great position here. All I'm going to do is bring this leg where my hand is. Look, this one's gonna step over. And look, as I lean into him, look, I'm gonna bring this up and I'm gonna guide his arm onto my shoulder. So I just lift my elbow, bring the tension onto his elbow, and look, as I bring the opposite knee up, now I can release and go palm to palm onto my elbows right here. Look, boom, into this arm lock. Now it's important when you do this technique, notice how this leg stops him from moving up to his knees. If you don't, he's gonna come up to his knees and relieve the arm bar. So as I keep him steady here, look, boom, apply the pressure. Now sometimes with this last arm bar we talked about, the opponent might turn up to his knees, all right? So now what we're gonna do is show you exactly a counter we can do to counter his move. Okay, so for example, maybe I was here. Now as I go for this arm bar right here, maybe I set it up from the knee on belly as well, right? Sometimes you can also finish from here. But I recommend always passing your leg over so that way there you can finalize here. But look, Alex is gonna come up to his knees. So now you end up like this, okay? Now, sometimes if there's space, you can switch to the omoplata, but a lot of times if he keeps his weight onto your foot, you won't be able to release this one. So now you end up with a great position, but you have no submission, okay? So look, what we're going to do is flip him around. So I'm gonna use this leg, put the pressure behind the neck, and with my right shin, I'll kick him forward, just like a scissor sweep. I'll keep the control here, I'll flip him over here, and now look, use this palm, come back to the exact same position we started in the first place, pass my leg again, and now look, I'll make sure to secure everything tight and finalize the same submission. So once again, I stepped over, one, as I finish here, look, he comes all the way to his knees. All right, so I'm trying to finish here, it's not working. I'm gonna apply a lot of weight onto his neck, kick him over, boom. Follow him through, push off the mat, readjust, and from here, lock it in. Now, from the Kesa position, when we switched here, now I'm gonna show you guys one of my favorite triple attacks we can do. So basically attacking the arm lock 3 ways, okay? The first one is the near side arm. So what we're gonna do is step over. So I'm gonna use this armpit to keep control of his wrist, to keep him where he is. As I push his head down, I'm gonna bring my leg exactly where my hand is. Step over the face, and look, the armpit is gonna drive to finalize the first submission, okay? So this is a very quick and sneaky submission hold you can do from this position. A lot of times people are expecting you to attack this arm, switch your position. Just wait here, right? The most important thing when you have Kesa positions is to maintain that position, all right? So look again, one, keep in contact with his body. My waist is against his hip bone. Now I have a steady base. I'm ready to go. I go here, step over, and look, bring this one right underneath to finalize the first submission. The second one, if this one fails, is right here, right? Telephone armbar on one side, and then you go here, second submission, right here, okay? And the third one is going to be, if you miss this one, he brings his hand out, you catch the wrist, and look, the shoulder lock is right there, all right? So let's look at this once again. Okay, so from this angle here, now look, I'll step over for the first one. Here's the first submission right here. Second submission from here or here. And then third one, he escapes. You catch the wrists. You're expecting this. And then from here, shoulder lock. All right, guys, so another way to get the mount position from the Kesa is this, all right? What I'm going to do is bring this hand underneath. So look, I'm gonna swim my arm underneath his arm. And now I'm gonna bring my hands onto the mat, but at the same time, I'll switch my base and bring my knee right to the hip, okay? Now, once I'm here, look, I want his arms out of the way. So I'm gonna continue crawling my fingers until they reach overhead. And from here, look, palm to palm, and keep everything tight. Once I'm in this position, I make sure to apply all the weight with my chest. And now I've cleared the space to bring my shin bone across and smash through into the mount position to get my transition and base out. Now, most of the time, if you use this smash mount, you're gonna keep this position the whole time and then readjust even higher using your legs. So once again, first things first, get the underhook on the near side. So I wanna create some space to swim my hand inside his arm. Now, once it's here, I base with my palms, switch my base with my hips, and once I'm here, look, I crawl towards the back of his head until I can reach palm to palm. And now look, bring the shin across. Let's move this way, Alex. The idea here is not to bring the shin in this manner. Now you've cleared the way and you're smashing his arm. So you can just bring your shin across right here and then slide through. So watch. Once I'm in this position, I'll just bring my shin bone right to his chest. From here, just flip over. And now I have the mount position. or I can keep this position here and bring my knees up higher. All right, guys, so there you have it. Side control and Kesa attacks you can do in your Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Leave us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you're new to our channel. We'll catch you
in the next video.
Take care.